Welcome back. We're here to preview Sunday afternoon's North East derby between Newcastle and Sunderland in the Premier League. Miles, let's start with Newcastle. They lost 4-1 at Arsenal, bit of a hammering.
Yeah, well, the scoreline suggests so, but they were very much in the game for much of the match until Arsenal scored 2 goals in quick succession towards the start of the second half. That really changed the game. Newcastle, they held their own in the first half, and when they pulled a goal back to make it 3-1, a comeback wasn't out of the question, especially against an Arsenal side who have looked quite lightweight in recent weeks. But then they couldn't push on for a second goal. Arsenal got the fourth to kill the game off, and it did end up being a fairly comfortable victory for Arsenal. But Newcastle, they wouldn't be too disheartened with their performance. It was a decent one on the whole, even though the result was a bad one.
Yeah, and I think they'll be glad to be back at St James's Park. They've won 4 in a row at home and not lost there since the opening day against Man City. Obviously, one of those 4 wins was against Chelsea, the first team to beat Chelsea this season. They've been in great form at St James's Park, and they'll be particularly keen to beat Sunderland because the last 2 times Sunderland have been to St James's Park, they've beaten them 3-0 both times. Like, really just so humiliating, in a big derby like this to lose 3-0 at home to your biggest rivals. They were, just so disappointing. So they'll want to get back to winning ways against their big rivals at home in this game. Yeah,
and they'll be glad to get the likes of Taylor and Sissoko back, 2 huge players for them. They're back from suspension. They've got such a lengthy injury list. They're up there with the likes of United and Arsenal injury problems-wise so far this season. But the likes of Sissoko and Taylor, massive players for them. Taylor back from suspension after his red card against Chelsea, and Sissoko got 5 yellow cards. Sissoko missed the Burnley game recently through suspension for a red card, and they missed him so much, and they missed him again in the Arsenal one because although they had decent spells in the game, they had no one to really drive at the defence and cause and test the keeper really. And Sissoko does that. He's such a big player for them, and you can tell when he's missing. So it'd be a big plus to get him back for sure.
Yeah, I think Newcastle will probably start the game as favourites. Sunderland, they're not in great form. They got a 1-1 draw against West Ham last time. That wasn't the worst result. West Ham came into that on a 3-game winning streak. So to go there, hold them to a 1-1 draw, but they took the lead through a Jordi Gomez penalty, and not to hold on. But West Ham got back in it quite quickly through Stuart Downing. So to not hold the lead for very long would be disappointing. But yeah, they've been a bit of draw specialists recently. A lot of draws recently, and Gus Poyet wants to get back to winning ways, and they have a great record at St James's Park recently. So I think they might fancy their chances here, given just how good they've been in the recent derbies.
They found wins hard to come by recently. 6 without a win now. 5 of them have been draws. You mentioned them being draw specialists. But games like this, form goes out of the window to some extent, doesn't it? As you said, great record at St James's Park. They'll be looking to keep that up. It's their biggest match of the season, really, for a lot of people. But they'll look ahead to the next 2 games as well. This one is a bit of a special event, but the next 2 games against Hull and Aston Villa, they're matches they really need to win if they want to drag themselves away from the relegation zone as well.
Yeah, what's your score prediction for this one then?
Usually quite a few goals in these sort of derbies. I'm expecting some more. I think it'll be on as even. I'm going to go for a 2-2 draw.
Yeah, I think I fancy a draw as well. Sunderland, they're unbeaten in 5 games against Newcastle, and they've won 3 in a row. So they've got a great recent record in the derby, but I think Newcastle come into this as the stronger team and as favourites. So I think, it just all boils down to draw. I think I'm going to go 1-1. Barney's gone 2-2. I've gone 1-1. Thanks for watching.